When I was 12, we ended up moving house, leaving everything that was familiar. And at that point, everything changed. We would often go and just play in the park, and there were a lot of other children around, so it was great. There's opportunity for new friends here. But I don't think any of us really expected to find what we did down there. There was an older man that would also be part of the crowd, but he did take a liking to me, and it was more than any of the other girls. I just didn't realise that it was grooming. I didn't realise he was grooming me. Within the first year, he introduced me to sex, to drugs, to fast cars and fast living. And because I thought it was normal, I just thought, right, well, I better learn how to live it. But what never felt normal was the way that I felt on the inside constantly. Because I'd been raised in church, and I kept remembering all of these stories that I'd learned. And the hero in all of these stories always was God. He's meant to be good and a protector. And if he wasn't those things to me, and yet he still loves me, then the way I can hurt him and get his attention is by hurting myself and putting myself in as much risk as possible. And that is when, at 17, I hit the self-destruct button. I just had no sense of value. So if you want to satisfy yourself, fine. If you want to use me, fine. You want to hurt me, fine. I'm already broken. But on the inside, actually, it's a really frightening place to be. When you're living in a really dark place, you really notice when someone takes time to notice you and to reach out. And that's what my sister did. She said, Debbie, what you experienced was abuse. It was like a light bulb went on. I saw everything that I had gone through with totally different eyes. She then gave me a book full of these turnaround stories of girls just like me. And it had come from an organisation called Mercy. I started to think, I'm not the only one in the world that feels like this. Less than a year later, I found myself walking through the doors of this residential home, feeling the same, feeling broken, feeling dirty, feeling ashamed, but also feeling hopeful for the first time in a really long time. One of the things I really needed to be authentic about was how much I hated God. And I remember grabbing a basketball. You know the sound it makes when it hits the concrete? Every time it made that sound. That darkness and the hatred I felt towards God seemed to bubble up and surface and surface and surface. And I said to him, so what have you got to say for yourself? Not even you could rescue me. I felt utterly betrayed. And as I turned to walk away, I heard his voice in my heart, right here. And he said, I love you. I'm supposed to be unlovable and broken, but what he said to me in that moment, he knew was exactly what I needed to hear. Am I going to tell you that my life completely changed from that moment? No, it didn't. But what happened in that moment is that it's like a seed was planted. As it took root in my heart, it started to uproot, if you like, things that I'd actually believed about myself. And it's changed the way I look at myself, and it's changed the way I look at my past, and it's changed the way I look at my future. I actually see it through hope, not hopelessness like I used to, not brokenness, but actually I know now. I know that God loves me. His love has become safe. It's actually a real relationship. As much as we sometimes hate to admit it, we can't fix ourselves. And actually, it is only Jesus that can.